What's up, ladies and gents? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you. Tonight, we're switching gears. Had someone ask me about Lake Lavon and see if I could go back and do the lake breakdown on Lavon with the SD cards and all of that to include the offshore hotspots and all these things that we've been going over. And Lavon was one of the first videos that I actually did for lake breakdowns. So it's crazy how much I've learned since then, since doing all these other breakdowns. So I thought, you know what, that's a great idea. Let's go back and let's break down Lavon. So I'm going to try to do this all in one video. I'm not going to go through all the offshore stuff and do the navionics and all that. If you want to see that, just go back and look at the Lavon lake breakdowns. But I want to show you what I've done for the lake, the updates that I've made, and I'll show you some of the new things that are out there. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into this. Here we go. All right, so I'm super excited to share this with you guys. Just wanted to go over and show you what I did on the left-hand side. So if you've downloaded the Lavon KML before, you remember it was one of my first ones. So I had descriptions on there. I didn't have the offshore stuff. I missed a lot of the creek channels and stuff like that and ponds. I just really, I was just new to breaking down lakes. So as I go back, it was amazing how many things I found that I missed the first time. So over here on the left-hand side, one thing that I did was I went ahead and organized everything. So you can see here, we've got ramps. So if we just want to look at the ramps that are on this lake, we can go over here and just click on ramps. And that shows us all the different boat ramps that are on the lake. And you guys have heard me talk about that a bunch before, about fishing the boat ramps and boat ramps being very effective. So definitely go and check out this boat ramp pattern, see if you can get on it. If you can see here that you've got several different boat ramps to choose from. Now, the next thing that would come up would be debris and laydowns and things like that. So I went ahead and marked all those for you. I'm not going to jump in here to Google Earth. Again, if you want to see me actually break these down, just go out and check out the Google Earth breakdown for Lake Lavon, and you'll be able to see a lot of this. But I went ahead and just updated the icons. Also found some new things to check out, so I went ahead and put those in there. So you'll find a few new things that are there. But for the most part, all of this was covered throughout our video that we did. Now, one thing I did do right in here is I marked this little area of trees because this can be a little productive area and some standing timber that's underneath there. If you pull this back to say 2013 here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Maybe it's 2014. Well, it's somewhere right in there. Can't find the exact date, but I thought it was 2013 or 2014, but there's some standing timber that's right in here. And I went ahead and circled it for you. You can see the top of it right there. And it's just in this one little area. And for whatever reason, they like to collect there right off the edge of that point. So take a look at that area in there. That covers our debris and our laydowns. Now, the next thing would be rocks. So I marked all the different areas that you can find rock on this lake. One of my favorite spots on this lake to fish rock, which is a little bit more offshore, would be right over here, which we had it marked as an offshore spot. So I'll show that to you guys here in a second. Let me go ahead and put that there, right here, this rock right here on the offshore. But also, any of this other rock is more your shallow stuff, not your offshore stuff. But you can see there's a lot of it to fish, and that's always good stuff to fish when you're, when you're in Texas. You definitely want to be fishing around all these different rocks. There's some of these are a little bit offshore, but they're still pretty shallow. So that covered us for the rocks. Now I also found a few ponds that I didn't find before. So all these ones that you see here that are marked in orange, these are all ponds. So there's an old pond that was down here that I didn't even know existed, right in this area. And then right up here, I found a really cool thing. There was another pond right in here. That's not the cool thing. That's just a regular pond. No big deal there. But if we move further up here, right there's where I'm trying to get to, but I keep finding more ponds. There's another pond right here. And I think there was one more for you. There's another pond right in here too. You can see. You guys have heard me talk about fishing those ponds. They make a really good weed line. So here, looks like you got some weeds in this area or some kind of debris. So you probably got some pretty good lines in there that you could fish around. And also getting on the inside of these pond dams and fishing the inside of them can be very productive. Now let's go here and talk about what I was trying to get to. Back in here, when I pulled the water down, I think this is Elm Creek, I believe. But when you get back in here, there's two pretty good little ponds. It's actually three different ponds. There's one here, and there's this big one here, and there's a little one over here. So I went ahead and marked those for you too. And while we're back here, let's go ahead and just show you the channels and the ditches. I also marked those. So this is your creek channel coming in, and that's your creek channel coming back out, or you could say your ditch coming out of your pond, and then this is your main creek channel up here. So right there in the bank line, might be a good area to look. So just fish around those creek channels and see what you can find there. Let me back up, just make sure I didn't miss any more ponds. We got one more pond that was way up here. You can see here I marked it for you guys. Kind of a little hidden little pond that was out there. So that pretty much shows us all the ponds that were out there. We talked about all the rocks and the debris and the laydowns and the ramps. So now the next thing that we have to focus on would be really channels and ditches. But I also want to show you these roads too. So didn't find too many roads on here. Really, the only road I think I found, or I guess there were two. There's three. There's one right here that's marked. So check and see if you can find anything around that roadbed. Also right here in this little cove here, there's a little roadbed that goes through here that you could check out. But the main thing that I wanted to show you here was that levee. I don't know why when I broke this lake down, there's another roadbed back here too. I'll show you that right there. And that was actually got some culverts around it. So that one looks like it could be really juicy. So as we move up here though, this is what I wanted to show you. Not sure why I didn't do this the first time that I broke down the lake, but this is that levee that they were talking about. And I gave you guys some coordinates. Somebody gave me the coordinates to the levee, and I think it pointed us to right up here. But this is the actual levee. I could see it on Google Earth, so I went ahead and just marked it for you guys. So there'll be a track out there that shows you exactly where that levee is. And I've just heard, local knowledge says that that's a good area to fish. So go in there and fish around that levee and see if you can figure out where that spot. That's a big levee to fish, but there's got to be some pretty good hot spots on that levee. I'd probably go out there and look for creek channels and things like that, see if there's anything like that that runs into that levee or around it, really close to it, and that's probably going to be your hot spots. So the last thing I wanted to show you guys was really just the creek channels and the ditches. I went ahead and marked multiple ones. One of the places that I didn't even touch last time was getting north of 380. So we'll start up here and then we'll just work our way down. So right up here, I call this the poop plant, I think, isn't it? Or no, this isn't the poop plant. We're not there yet. So it's on the other side. So over here, just don't usually mark anything up here. I don't come up here and fish. There's tons of trees and stumps and all of that. So I don't even know if it's worth fishing up here, but if you're a kayaker or maybe if you have a smaller John boat, this could be a pretty good area to come up here and fish. So I went ahead and marked the creek channel up here for you guys. I marked the other one over here as well. So you can see there, it's pretty defined, definitely. And then let's go move down a little bit further. There is some discharge that comes out of here, and I've caught bass up in here a lot, up in this area. So this is definitely a good area to look, but these ditches are marked for you guys where that discharge is. Be super careful. This is really shallow, and there's tons of rocks right in this area. You've also got another weed line right here. This isn't a creek channel, but this green line is going to be that weed line that we talked about in the previous video. You've also got that pond that was there just a minute ago. Let's zoom into that one and take a look at it. A pond dam right there. There's a different year, whatever year I was looking at last time, that you can see that pond dam a lot better. You can see that weed line a lot better now too. All right, so I'm going to keep moving down. We're going to keep talking about these creek channels. There weren't a ton of them. So there were this one back here that we talked about, those ditches. You got another channel that's back in here, or more like a ditch. It was more like a little ditch that came through here. Never knew that was back there either, so I'd probably go back and check that one out. And then up here, we get up in here to this side. You got a pretty good creek channel coming through here that we talked about too with those two culverts. As we move further down, not a lot going on here until you get back here behind the railroad tracks. I went ahead and marked that entire creek channel for you guys there. So you can see I kind of lost it right in here, but pretty much you can fish it all the way through right in there and go all the way back. This is just a huge flat back here. All right, then I'm going to keep moving down. Wasn't anything over here for creek channels. We're almost done. We're going to go back up here. There's two more I want to show you. Right here, you've got a creek channel that runs up through here, which I never knew. That's White Rock Creek, actually. So come up here and check that out. See if you can find anything around those bins, debris, anything like that. Could be a good spot to fish. And then up here, again, it's tough to get up here in a boat because there's so much standing timber and things. I believe you have to come up here and actually launch up here. But you could launch right here at this park. I think this is Highland Park. Yeah, so you could launch right up here at this Highland Park. And this is where that poop discharge place is. It's right up here. I call it poop discharge. It's some kind of, I call it a poop plant. So the water coming out of there is going to generate a lot of current and stuff like that. Probably may even be warm as well. And I've heard that this can be a good area to fish. So what I did was I marked kind of that channel that comes down from that discharge. So that's marked there. And from my understanding, if you go up here in a bass boat, you pretty much just got to putt around, right? You can't get on plane or anything like that. There's too many trees. So if you're stuck over here and you're fishing this ditch and you get bored, you could always putt over here. And what I did was I marked this creek channel for you guys. So you could come over here and fish this creek channel as well. Again, you guys that are kayakers in smaller john boats and things like that, this area up here could be a good area to fish. I've never been up here, but I've seen some videos of people fishing in this area before and just never knew where they were, and they were having a pretty good time. So definitely go up there and check it out. So that covers us, guys, for everything that we've done and updated for Lake Lavon. I've went ahead and updated the site with the new icons and everything like that. So if you purchase it from the site at simplisticfishing.com, you'll get this new layout as opposed to the old one. And I think that's about it. Hey, we're also running a special out there on simplisticfishing.com. Simplistic Fall 20 gives you a 20% discount. I'll actually put it down inside the description of the video so you guys can have that. So you can go out there and get a 20% discount on the cards, the digital files if you want to. I think that offer is going to run all the way through December 31st. So until next time, guys, hope you catch your BB, and I hope this thing really helps you. Take care.